Obviously, you guys saw this team in the regular season. Just from what you saw from them in the NLDS, how different are the Brewers today? And also, how different are the Dodgers as you guys prepare for this now NLCS?
Yeah, I think that they're similar to what we saw earlier this year in the sense of think they're playing really good baseball. Towards the end of the year, they kind of scuffled a little bit, but they're back to playing, the way they play. I think we're in a much better spot, just as far as on the health side, on the position player side, on the pitching side, and we're playing better. So, it should be a great series.
We'll stay in the second row towards the right, Fabian, and then Sonia.
Yeah, Dave, what went into going with Blake for game one, and is Shohei going to start game two?
Yama's going to start game two. So it's going to be Blake, and just those are the guys that could potentially pitch on regular rest.
And what went into sort of, is Shohei going to pitch sort of more towards the middle of the series then, or what's
He'll
the
pitch
sort
at
of
some
plan?
point, yeah, but we just don't know which day. But yeah, he's going to pitch at some point, yep.
Then to Sonia.
Dave, with the way that Will's feeling now, do you still see a need to carry three catchers, or is that maybe somewhere where you can remove a position player, add a pitcher?
Great question, and I had a couple conversations to have shortly. But that's a good thought.
Is the idea of pitching Shohei in front of an off day still something that the team will want to do this series, or does that not matter as much?
Not as important. I think that just kind of appreciating having four starters in a potential seven-game series and who can pitch potentially twice, and that's kind of the impetus versus Shohei, having that day off after a game,
Let's go to Jesse down in front.
Hey, Doc. I assume you watched last night or just the Brewers in general lately. The Padres get a lot of pub for their bullpen and the velocity. I mean, seeing, especially when Mizorowski comes out of the pen and Ashby and these guys throwing 100, what do you think about how they've developed the velocity and back end here in Milwaukee?
They've done a great job with drafting, scouting, player development, roster construction. They do a fantastic job. And then you take Murph and his staff, they've dominated it. The bullpen, they get you, with velocity from the right side, the left side. They've got balls that, sinkers, heavy sinkers. So they've got kind of all the different kind of mixes, and they're very talented, and they're not afraid to run those guys out there. So we got our work cut out. But as far as organization-wise, they've done a fantastic job.
Go to Paul in the second row on the end.
Dave, going back to Will Smith for a minute, the Brewers, they like to run a lot. Obviously, when Will's healthy, he's as good as anyone as slowing down the running game. I know there's other stuff that goes into it, but how confident are you in your team's ability to slow down the Brewers a little bit?
Yeah, you know what? I think that feel good. We're definitely mindful of those guys being aggressive on the bases. We like our guy back there, the catch and throw. But a lot of it is, the pitcher's got to, vary looks and hold, and we got to be mindful. But that's certainly something that we know, they're very opportunistic on the bases for sure.
Katie?
Dave, when you look at the Brewers high, it's clear you and others, they're a very athletic team. They're relentless. They don't make a lot of mistakes. When you think about how you combat their style of play, what do you need to do to execute that?
I think the main thing, which obviously you've got to play to put yourself in this position, is get a lead. When you have a lead, their aggression is more tempered. And when the wind's at their back, they're very aggressive. And so I think the thing is that if you can get a lead, put a little bit of pressure on them. They're a little bit more conservative. But if not, Murph's going to be aggressive, and the hit and runs, the first to thirds, the stolen bases, and all that kind of stuff.
Stay in that second row, Anthony.
Maybe a little similar to what you were just saying about Mizorowski and those guys, but what is having Roki, as effective as he's been for you, done for you in your management of your bullpen? And in a perfect world, Do you like him in that one inning thing, or more of, what we saw in his last appearance?
Perfect world one inning, because there's a cost to 2 innings, or certainly 3 innings as far as on the backside of that, right? But it certainly, helped stabilize the pen with leverage. Obviously, our guys have been going through it, but I do think that in the last week, our guys, we've seen some good things out of the guys in the pen, but certainly Roki's been a big part of it.
John, down in front.
Yeah, it's been suggested in a few places that Blake was slow played for just these kind of occasions. Is it fair to say that you guys used him cautiously in the regular season?
I think that's fair. Could he have probably pitched earlier? Possibly. But when you're talking about kind of the arm, the term of the contract, the shorter term, the season, making sure that he is raring to go for the postseason, through the postseason. So that was certainly part of the math, and that's why guys like what Clayton did and Emmett Sheehan and other guys did throughout the season to kind of get us to this point, to now be able to turn guys like Tyler loose and Blake Snell loose as well. Yeah.
Let's go to Bill, far right, third row.
Yeah, Dave, did Shohei's slump figure into the pitching choice at all? Taking pitching off of his plate for a couple days, let him recalibrate, to use your word, on hitting?
No, not at all. I think it was, just kind of, Shohei's going to pitch one game this season, or this series. So, it's one game, and then you have 2 other guys that potentially can pitch on regular rest. And so how do you get, sort of your best pitchers the most innings in a potential 7-game series? So I expect a different output from Shohei on the offensive side this series. But yeah, pushing him back was no bearing on the offensive performance.
All the way up in the far right, Bill.
Dave, credit to you guys for being back at this stage. The other 3 finalists, or final 4, if you will, haven't been in the World Series in this century. As you guys travel around the country and get out of LA, do you sense that fans are happy to see you guys at the top, or do you think fans might want to see some fresh blood?
I think they're happy to see us. People love for fresh blood until you potentially see TV ratings, but I think they like seeing the Dodgers, whether they don't like rooting against us or rooting for us. But we got a lot of good players. I think we do things the right way as far as how we play the game. So I think they like seeing us, even here in Milwaukee.
Staying up on the right, Jack.
Dave, when you look at this a Brewers lineup that
Oh yeah, Jack.
doesn't chase a lot, makes a lot of contact, what kind of challenges does that pose, and how do you guys kind of balance maybe trying to get them to chase versus pitching them aggressively in the zone, if they put the ball in play more than maybe a lot of teams you see?
I think it's attacking them. I think a team that doesn't punch much, you try to be too fine, you're going to see yourself, 6, 8, 9 pitches and ultimately not get a strikeout. So I think the way to attack these guys is to attack them, and then sort of deal with the fallout, the result earlier in a count versus trying to nibble and chase that punch. But yeah, when you get count leverage, then obviously you're going to go for the punch out in the right time. But I think for the most part, sort of how I felt we did a good job with the Phillies and going after those guys, especially the big 3, kind of that same approach. Certainly a different profile of hitter, but I think that's the same approach.
We'll take a few more, Nobu and Russell on the left, and then we'll finish up with Bob on the right.
Hi, Dave. Back to Rocky. Have you talked to him about throwing back-to-back game? And then are you still cautious to use him as a back-to-back game?
He is ready for whatever we need of him. So I haven't talked to him. I talk to him quite frequently, but whatever is needed of him, he'll be ready to go. So I'm not worried about the back-to-back.
Staying right here on the left, Russell.
Hey, Doc.
platoon advantage and matching up isn't something that's new to managing, but I think for the general public, they're starting to understand the idea of pockets more and hearing about pockets. What's changed about how you have to deploy or combat against another manager, trying to attack those pockets in your lineup, or maybe what you do later in games?
Yeah, I think it's lineup to lineup, roster to roster. I think that platoon advantage in a vacuum, always long view makes sense. But in a postseason setting, when you're baking in off days, it's just not always something you see managers do all the time, certainly in the last few years, couple years, specifically this year. You're just not as aggressive as hitting for guys because, the cost of the 8th inning, the 9th inning, and as opposed to a line shift or change, right? So I think it's sort of philosophical, manager to manager, organization to organization, but, for me is, I'll hit for guys potentially, but there's certain guys I trust. And then you're talking about lineup construction, and how best to essentially attack the starter to combat the potential pen and those kind of things. So that's kind of philosophical, but that's kind of overarching how I look at it.
We'll finish up with Bob down in the front.
Hey, Dave, when you saw the Brewers in spring training, and of course you saw them again in July, even in spring, you think to yourself, these guys are better than people think? They got a chance to be playing deep in the season?
Absolutely. They're just gritty, they're tough, and they take on Murph's personality. And they've got some guys that can slug. They've got some athleticism. They really defend well. They can pitch well. So it's like they're going to be in every game. They've got complete buy-in, and so they're hungry. So those things are, components that are scary. And so I definitely felt they were a very good ball club. So anything Murph speaks to in the Lou Holtz vein, we're not buying, because that's a very good ball club.
All right, Doc, thanks for the time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Heyman, it's got juice. The guy's got juice. Give him.
I got a question. Your team handled the Dodgers 6 games to nothing in the regular season. I don't suppose your team is the type to get overconfident, though, but I'll ask you.
Yeah, I mean, we're not overconfident, that's for sure. Dodgers are a powerhouse. What can you say? You don't see many commercials in the United States, Canada, Japan, anywhere across the world, and you don't have Dodgers in it because they have the star power, and they're great players. I happen to think that Mookie Betts is one of the most underrated stars. I say underrated, that's kind of crazy, right? But I don't think Mookie Betts gets the credit. Freddie Freeman's like my favorite player in the game. He's ruined Brewers history many times, but I still love him. I think he's a terrific player and even more terrific person. Ohtani, one of the all-time greats in only, I don't know how many years he's played, but he's one of the all-time greats. But I think Mookie Betts is, what he's doing, transitioning back to the infield and playing shortstop on, America's team. Like, are you kidding me? And doing it so well. I mean, his performance this year is far the most underrated. If you're watching baseball and value to a team, that dude is some kind of special. He's like, it would be like Steph Curry, like playing forward. You know what I mean? Like, he could do it because those superstars can do that. Mookie is doing something in our game that's unprecedented. I love it. Yeah, I respect the whole team. Teoscar, one of the great dudes of the game, and he's just performing in the clutch. I mean, they got great ones. The Rojas kid has killed us. If he hits against us, he gets a hit. And he's been unbelievable. So I respect the heck out of him. I really do.
Come over to Russell, second row on the left.
What's up, Murph?
Hey.
You're a be where your feet are kind of guy. I know you always say you can't coast uphill. With that type of philosophy about baseball and life, how do you appreciate what you guys were able to accomplish last night while also, understanding what lies ahead?
Yeah, I admire this team. I admire the guys in the clubhouse, what they've overcome, what they're about, the who. I say that a lot. I hope I'm understood, but I understand myself, but I'm not sure anybody else does. But the who that they are impresses the hell out of me. Just like how they go about their business, how they show up to perform every day, what they talk about, how they care about each other. They're not baseball players that are comfortable. They're still hungry. And hungry players, they make the manager look good, that's for sure. And, it's like, I'm just proud as hell of those guys. And I don't underestimate them. You can't look on paper and say how many of our position players would be on the Dodgers team. You can't really project that many of them would, but somehow they find a way. And that's why I really admire our team.
Todd, or if you just came out of the meeting, is there anything you can share as far as,
Sure.
roster breakdown, anything like that?
Yeah, I'll just reveal it all just before we even have to give it to the Dodgers. I'll just send it to you.
As far as numbers goes, anything like that, 12 and 14 last night?
Why would I reveal that right now, Todd?
You revealed it first night.
I did? Huh. Well, that was stupid on my part. I'm going to be more strategic.
Adam, second row on the right.
I got you warmed up. Murph, how about your starting pitching plans for 1 and 2, and more generally, the challenge of navigating a 7-game series with 2 off days versus a 5-game series with
3 off days.
3?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge on the pitching front, and so it makes you a little more mindful of length, guys that can give you length. But of the guys that we're going to keep, most likely, we haven't decided, to be honest with you, Todd. We don't feel like we can make a final decision, and we can't shed a position player right now because the way our options and what they are, we don't feel like we can probably shed one. So if we're going to only keep 12 pitchers, then we got to have a bunch of guys with length. So that opens a door for some other people that might not have been on the roster the first week. So we got to look at that. That was part of your question. What was the other part?
You mean starter for 1 or for 2?
Well, I think that our success using an opener is, Freddie's going to pitch game 2. It's probably pretty obvious, right? It's his rest. It's where you can do. We can bring him back then at the end if we need him. So I think you can look at that as a probable. Game 1 looks at, okay, who is on our team that can give us length? Quintana, Priester, something like that, right? Give us a bulk. And we may use an opener there in game 1. And then we'll look at game 3 when we get to it. Okay.
Go to Jared in the third row.
Hi, Jared.
Hi, sorry I missed introductions. I'm Jared with the Wall Street Journal. Hi.
God, that's awesome, Jared.
You guys.
So you know who you're sitting next to, don't you?
On which side?
I just said, you know who you're sitting next to?
Actually, no, I don't.
You should
I'll introduce
learn,
myself
'cause
after
you're in
this
a pretty
question.
you're in a pretty strategic spot there to gain some knowledge.
Nobody else wanted to sit here, apparently, because I'm the only open seat. You guys had more opposing defenses committed more errors against your team than any team in baseball. You scored more unearned runs than any team in baseball. To what extent do you believe that's good fortune, and to what extent is that a result of something you are doing that sort of causes other teams to make mistakes against you?
I think there's the threat of the bunt, the threat of the steal, the positioning thing, because we do so much of that stuff. I think that probably creates people being a little uncomfortable, a little more out of his position. I don't know. I think a lot of it's good fortune. I think a lot of it is guys that are like really short on our offensive team that kind of mishit the ball a lot, and it kind of puts everybody by surprise. The outfielders don't know where to play. They're like, this kid's 5'4". Where should I play him? So I think there's a little bit of everything in there.
Go back to Kurt on the left.
More of a real question this time. The Dodgers have more righty starters than you saw in that last series, and guys that are going to go probably longer in the games. Does that make you consider more strongly doing a situation with Bowers and Vaughn in the lineup together, or is that just sacrificing too much defense in your mind?
Yep. No, that's the discussion. You could be in our discussions if you'd like to join us. Yeah, those are the things that I'm contemplating, like, do you put Bowers in the outfield? Who do you sacrifice, and what does that do to the rest of your outfield defense? That type of stuff. So some version of that, Collins, he's been a huge part of our team, so some version of that is there.
Let's go to Anthony.
You just gave me an idea there. No, I got to tell somebody something, and you saying that reminded me, because I'm a little bit overwhelmed with all the. What do we got? Who's next?
Anthony, second row on the right.
Anthony. Helping out Adam.
Helping out Adam. What Ms. Yarowski did for you guys in the DS, how does that, especially coming off his end to the season, how does that color or change your perception of what you could be, or how you could use him going forward here?
No question. I mean, that's a great question. And you're sitting next to Adam and you made the great question. That's unusual. It's truly, Miz stepping up the way he has just, we have more and more confidence in him, and he's backing in a groove a little bit. And I think that helps our team. We're gonna have to piece it together. That's how we do it. It's patchwork, and it's proven to be pretty good. Yelly calls it the collection of misfit toys. Everybody's been DFA'd or moved around or been through really tough stretches, whatever, and it's kind of all hands on deck, and they're ready to do whatever. It's kind of cool.
Stay in that
Fun
row.
to be around.
Murph, going back to 2015 with the Padres, obviously you and Doc were on that coaching staff. Kotze became a manager. Will Venable's a manager. What do you remember just about the baseball acumen on that team, and then what have you learned in the 10 seasons since?
Hey, I mean, my baseball experience in the big leagues in 10 years, I've been around I was around Buddy Black. He's unbelievable. I was around Brad Ausmus, Trevor Hoffman, Mark Loretta, Dave Roberts, Hoffy's brother. I knew that. Glenn. I mean, around so many good baseball people, you know what I mean? That whole Padre experience helped me grow immensely. And, I'm a guy, I had done the minor leagues for 3, 4, 5 years there, and that helped me. But then the first time in the big leagues, all those guys around, and some of those guys were just getting started coaching. Doc was just getting started coaching. Some other guy, I was around Darren Balsley, the pitching coach there, just some really just great baseball people. And I'm just really thankful because they all, had plenty of laughs on me, and yeah, we had a great time, and I learned a ton. All right,
we'll try to do 3 more. Adam, Jesse, Jack.
Murph, back to Mizorowski for a second. Will he start in this series, do you think, or do you like middle of the game?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. That hasn't been concrete yet, but there's a possibility he'd start.
And can I ask one more? Is Logan Henderson has been in Arizona, we understand?
He's actually here.
That was going to be
And you knew that. I think you knew that.
Thank you. Do you expect him to be part of this?
Could be. It's tough. Tough. I had guys on throwing a pitch in a game since against real game in a while, so it'd be tough to put him on, but I think he's here. It's a rumor. He's here. Now, before we close this up, and I don't want to take up any of the Dodgers' precious time. I mean, they're on a shoestring budget. They can't go anything extra. How about any of the Japanese reporters? Ask me a question. It would be a thrill for me. No, we got a couple. Ladies first. Sorry.
Hi. Your team is really young. What's the key to navigate the young player in the biggest moment like this?
Yeah. I think each other. I think the fact that they have each other, and they rely and they feel responsible for each other, and I don't want to let him down, my teammate. I want to do the job for him instead of, it's all about me, I got to do the job, I got to look good. No, I got to be responsible to him. So I think it's a teammate thing when you got young players.
One more question. You may possibly face the Shohei as a pitcher. What's the impression, like what's the idea about him as a pitcher?
Yeah. My impression as a pitcher is that he's unbelievable. You know, the game I saw him pitch the other day was like, huh, the split finger from the top of the zone all the way to the bottom. Like, amazing. The guy's amazing. What can you say? The guy is amazing. I've never seen a baseball player with that much ability. So, yeah, we'll have our work cut out for us. That other kid's pretty good, the lefty. He's pretty good. What's his name? Snell? Snell? He's pretty good. I'm joking, of course. I've been very disappointed when he's pitched and I'm in the same stadium. Yeah, he's really good. And Glasnow is really good. And Yamamoto is really good. And the guy at the end, who's the guy at the end throwing 100 with a split? Yeah, that shouldn't be fair. We're gonna try to petition the league and see if we can get him suspended for something. Isn't there something we can get him on to get him out? Oh, Lord, here we go. Shouldn't we have a day off tomorrow? Don't you think we should have another day off?
I had a few this week.
Yeah, but I'm tired. I don't know. I gotta get through this whole stack. So you know how goofy I am. Look at this. I got stuff. Think of this lineup, okay? This is in my scouting report still. Seager, Bellinger, Gonzalez, Utley, Grandal, Taylor, Puig, Barnes, Hernandez, Granderson, Turner, Jock Peterson. What year was that? Huh? 15. Was it 18? Yeah, it could have been. I got these things from way back when because like some of the signs never change. Kershaw, Hill, Jansen. I love Kenley Jansen. You guys miss him? I love him. Yeah. Romo, Morrow, Stripling. God. Cingrani was on the team. Jesus. That's beautiful. That's my life.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, yeah, it's a pleasure. Sorry I was late. Do you have, oh, Jesse, sorry. No, shit, we got to do it, Jesse. Jesse, come on. It's the Dodgers. We can make them wait. I like making them a little squirrely.
It was weird to ask anything normal.
What do you mean? We're normal in here.
We're having fun now.
No, we're not. Come on, this is just every day.
No, it's not that.
All right, well, ask me privately.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.